Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. It's Monday. Markets are back open. What's going on? Well, they started off down, but we pulled them right back up. The Dow's up about 100. The Nasdaq's up about 100. The rally's continuing. Now, July was a fantastic month. Fantastic rally, right? Up about 10%, known as a relief rally, known as a short covering rally, known as a bear market rally. Well, what happened in June? Well, June we went down about 10%. So in June we went down 10%, and now we recovered that 10%. So if you slept the last 2 months from June 1st to August 1st, you'd be about right the same place we started at. Okay, so that's behind us. What do I see going forward? Well, going forward, I see that we have a lot of gaps to fill, a lot of gaps that we've gapped up. There's like 3 gaps in this recent rally we've had. And at some point, we're going to come back down and fill those gaps. Now, will we get a lower low or a higher low? That's the question that remains. They're trying to get a higher high right now, but they got to push the SPY above 415 to get that higher high. And they'll probably do it. We could do that by the end of the day. Who knows? But if they get that to the higher high and then we have a higher low, then we form the bottom and then they're ready to push the market higher. But I do think that even if we get the higher high, we're still going to pull back down and fill some of these gaps moving forward. This is just my opinion. It's a bottoming process, right? All right, so let's move on to the real estate market now. I want to talk today about the rental bubble, the rental bubble. Now, are we in a bubble? Well, let's talk about that. Rents have never been this high before in the history of the world. So I would say that it's very likely that we are in a bubble in the rental market. Now, how did we get this bubble? Well, just since the beginning of the pandemic, we're already up about 30% from that, 30%. Well, I wonder why that is. Well, maybe because we printed about 40% of new money. All the money in existence, we printed about 30 or 40% of that during the pandemic. We printed trillions and trillions of dollars, and this rose the rate of the rental market. Okay, so now how can we solve the problem? Well, maybe they can figure out how to print apartments. Instead of printing money, we could print apartments. But apartments are being built. Right now, there's 1 million new apartments coming onto the marketplace. Apartments are being built at a record high level. All right, so why is there this rental bubble? Why are these rents increasing? Could it be that people aren't paying their rent? Right now, there's about 8 million people in the United States not paying their rent. Now, to me, this is just shocking. Well, you know, I used to be a landlord, and when people didn't pay me, I would evict them. But there's been this thing called this eviction moratorium. Do you know that in Los Angeles, we're extending the eviction moratorium again? You cannot evict people in Los Angeles. A lot of places still have this eviction moratorium. 8 million people not paying their rent. 700,000 of those people are in California. 700,000 people in California are not paying their rent. Now, what does this do to the market? Well, normally what happens is these people would get evicted and those places would become available, right? They'd become available for rent. And because there would not be enough people to fill up these places at this high rent market, the rent would actually reduce. So the fact that we're not kicking people out and they're not paying their rent, well, that just clogs up the system and keeps prices high. It's kind of a form of socialism, if you will. The people that can afford to pay rent, they pay an extra high price so that the people that cannot afford to pay rent can stay there without paying. It's a new form of socialism in our country. Now, personally, I think that at some point this will play out. This will play through the court system. The people will be evicted, the apartments will become available, the houses will become available, and the prices will drop because there's just not enough people that can afford to pay these high prices. The people that are paying them, well, how are they doing it? They're going into their credit card. They're putting a lot of things on their credit card, their food, their gas, because all their money's going to rent right now. So now why do I think that this bubble is going to pop? Well, let's think about this. Right now, 1/3 of rental applications are from people that have sold their home. People sell their home because it's at a high price. They're like Billy Bob. He got out of the market and he went to rent, right? Okay, so now he sold his home, so he's a rental application. 1/3 of all rental applications are people that have sold their home. Now, I think this is going to change as we see the prices of homes already starting to drop in many areas. These people will stop renting and they'll go back and they'll buy a home again. That's just my opinion. That's what I think will happen. But why do I think that this rental bubble is going to bring the housing market down? Well, here's the thing. When the rental bubble does pop, and I do think it'll pop there's a lot of reasons. The eviction moratoriums will come to an end. People will start to buy houses as houses come down. There's a lot of reasons that the rental market is coming to an end. They're building a lot of apartments right now. Over a million new units are coming onto the marketplace. So this rental market, a lot of people would take the opposite view. Let's say it can't pop because, these people need a place to live. Well, yeah, but they need to start paying rent. If they're not paying rent, they need to move out and move in with friends, move in with family, and move somewhere else so that that unit can become available and that someone that wants to pay rent can move in there. And that way, if you get all of this work through the court system, the rental market will adjust. The price will adjust. There's no reason in the world that a one-bedroom apartment around my area goes for about $3,000 a month. There's no reason for that. It's ridiculous, right? But that's where we are in the rental market. But the reason I think the rental market's going to pop the housing market and make the housing market crash is because of investors. You see, right now, investors were about 30% of the house purchases over the last couple years. They were bought by investors. Now, investors own 20 million homes out there owned by investors. And now they rent them out. Some of them just leave them vacant. They don't even care if they get the rent money, but they're owned by investors. But as house prices start to come down and these rentals, they start to not make as much money because rents will start to come down. This is going to take the investor out of the game. The investor is no longer going to want to be an investor because it is no longer profitable. We're seeing the interest rates go up higher, right? The Federal Reserve just raised 75 basis points, but mortgages have gone from 3% to 6%. So the rental market has become less profitable because they have to get their money out there. The mom and pop goes and buys a house with 6% mortgage, and then the rent price starts to come down. Now, you see, there's a lot of losses that they don't tell you about. It's expensive when a tenant doesn't pay you the rent. First of all, you're not getting the rent, right? Okay. Second of all, you have to spend money to get the tenant out. Now, in California, we got this incredible law, and it was just upheld in the court system. In California, if you evict your tenant, you have to give them a 1 month's worth of rent so that they can move into a new place. Can you believe that law? I'm shocked that that's upheld, but that's the law in California. Crazy out here, right? Okay, so, but we have this rental bubble, and this rental bubble is going to pop, and that's going to mean that the investor is going to go out of the housing market, which made up to about 30% of all purchases during the pandemic. So 30% of those purchases, that investor is going to go away because the interest rates are up and the rents are going to start to come down. And they have 20 million. Think about it. 20 million houses are owned in the investor market. They're owned by investors that rent them out. And that market, let's just say 10% of those decide they don't want to be a landlord anymore. 10% of them go away, right? That's 2 million properties that are going to be hitting the market. And those 2 million properties will send the prices lower. It's kind of like a death spiral. It's a stair step down. Billy Bob got up here. Leroy got out here. But the next guy's got to go lower and lower and lower, right? It's a spiral down. You see, it's the down elevator. That down spiral, it happens much quicker than the spiral going up. See, going up, it's a slow process. Coming down, it happens pretty quick once it starts. And it's just starting now. Don't go out and buy now. It's just getting started. Sit back, grab some popcorn, watch the show. It's a horror show. I mean, houses, the whole housing market, the whole real estate market is just in a nightmare right now. People think it's okay. You listen to mainstream media. You listen to your realtor, they'll tell you that everything's normal, everything's good. I'm telling you, they would be sorely mistaken. They're going to see something in the next 6 months to 12 months that they're not going to see for a very long time. They're going to see the market come down, and it's not going to bounce. It's not going to bounce this time. It's going to stay down. It's going to stay down, and then it's going to stay down. It's going to plateau, and then it's going to go down again, and then it's going to stay there. And people laugh at me with this 50% off on housing prices. Look, during the pandemic, houses went up 20% a year, 40%, right? I mean, I'm just talking that would bring us back to pre-pandemic levels. And I mean, that would be more towards the norm, right? But maybe we overshoot that level. Maybe we go down 60, 70%. Now, I know a lot of you totally disagree with me, and that's fine. I'm good with that. This is just my opinion, and that's what I do. I put my opinions out. I'm just a guy with a computer and a microphone that likes to talk to people. I don't have friends that like to talk to me about this stuff. I know that's shocking, right? But anyways, this is my rant for the day. It's Monday, everybody. If you like this stuff, give me a thumbs up. You really like it, punch that subscribe button, because I want to talk to you again later in the week, because we got an exciting week and it's just getting started. Get out there, everybody. Have a great Monday, and we'll talk again real soon. Bye-bye now.